I showed up to my parents' family celebration banquet, dressed early, smiling, and just as I reached for the door, I heard it. "Sorry, you're not invited. Leave." I thought it was a joke until they called security. And then my father said it loud enough for everyone in the lobby to hear. "Get this beggar out. My name is Clara Bennett. I'm 35, and if you think I caused a scene, I didn't." I straightened my back, looked at my mother, who wouldn't meet my eyes, glanced at my sister, who smirked, and I walked away. No shouting, no tears, no curses, just footsteps. But what they didn't know was that everything they'd been celebrating, I paid for. The venue, the catering, the gold-plated invitations, the Airbnb rentals for the out-of-town uncles, even the champagne tower my mother insisted on for aesthetic. They thought it came from my father's retirement bonus. It didn't. It came from my account. Quietly, willingly, repeatedly, until that moment. I got in my car, took a breath, opened my banking app, and started canceling. $7,200 banquet catering reversed. $12,000. Honeymoon flights for my sister revoked. $4,800. Spa weekend for my mother and her book club, gone. $52,000. Ongoing payments on the beach condo they claimed as my father's legacy. All under my LLC, frozen, effective immediately. Total damage, $76,000. By the time I reached home, I had 56 missed calls. Half from family, half from numbers I didn't recognize. And then someone knocked at my door hard. I checked the peephole and what I saw made me lock the door slowly, silently, and grab the folder I had been waiting 3 years to use. Standing outside my door was my brother-in-law, red-faced, disheveled, clutching his phone like a grenade with the pin halfway pulled. "You need to fix this," he barked, without so much as a hello. "They just canceled the banquet. Food. The hotel won't release the rooms and my honeymoon tickets got voided mid-check-in." I leaned against the frame. Strange. Sounds like someone didn't double-check who actually owned those payments. He blinked. "You did this because they kicked you out." "No," I said. "I did this because they forgot the one rule of biting the hand that feeds you. Make sure the hand isn't holding the receipts." He glanced past me, trying to see inside. Maybe to check if our parents were there. Maybe to spot regret. But regret wasn't living here. I held up the folder, thick, tabbed, color-coded inside. Signed contracts with my LLC listed as financial sponsor, cancellation clauses with my name as sole authority, payment reversals processed within the hour of their betrayal. "I warned them 3 years ago," I said. "I told them if they treated me like a bank, I'd start acting like a banker. You're punishing the whole family." I smiled. "No, I'm protecting my investment and cutting my losses." He raised his voice. "They're your parents. They called me a beggar." He didn't have an answer for that. Just turned, muttering something about lawyers and taking this higher. "But here's the thing. You can't climb higher than the person who holds the ledger, the contracts, and the backup drive." He walked off and I closed the door, then walked to my desk, placed the folder down, and opened a new one. Labeled Inheritance Audit Phase 2. By morning, I had emails, 32 to be exact, some polite, some threatening, all panicked. My mother said, "We didn't mean what we said." Emotions were high. "Can we talk?" My father said nothing, just a forwarded invoice from the venue, now unpaid and demanding restitution. But my favorite was from the family group thread I hadn't been added to in years. A screenshot sent by my cousin. "Clara's always been sensitive. She'll come crawling back. She always does." I laughed, then replied to the whole group. "Just a reminder, I own the crawl space and the locks were changed." No response. But later that afternoon, I received a message I didn't expect from my parents' accountant. He asked if I had time to discuss some irregularities, said he'd noticed the payments to their beach condo hadn't been coming from their trust, but from an LLC he'd never seen before. "Mine?" I confirmed it. Then I asked a question I'd been waiting 3 years to say out loud. "Have they declared that condo as their asset in annual filings?" Silence. Then they claimed it was an inheritance gift from a private family investor. No documentation. So they'd not only lied, they'd hidden it. Used my generosity to build equity in a property I technically still owned under my company's name. They weren't just ungrateful, they were exposed. The accountant asked if I'd be willing to sign a declaration for tax records. I said yes, but only after I called my lawyer and asked him how fast we could serve them papers that would make that condo and every unpaid cent legally untouchable. He said within 48 hours. Perfect. Because now this wasn't about family, it was about fraud. By noon, the papers were drafted. A cease and desist for slander, misrepresentation, and unauthorized use of funds, and a property reassignment filing, removing any verbal claim my parents had over the beach condo. My lawyer Liam slid the papers across the table and said, "They'll try to call your bluff." I smiled. They already did. That banquet was the bluff. The process server confirmed delivery an hour later. And just like that, the family celebration turned into a financial reckoning. That night, I got a voicemail from my mother. Tearful, rambling. "You're destroying us over what? A misunderstanding. You always do this. Always so dramatic." Ah, yes, dramatic. The word used to silence daughters while they foot the bill. But she wasn't done. "If you follow through with this, people will talk. Church, the neighborhood, your father's reputation." It was always about the performance, the appearance of unity, the illusion of a perfect family, the brand of love, not the reality of it. But this time, I let the voicemail rot in my inbox because something more important arrived the next morning. A message from my accountant. Subject: account transfer confirmed. Beach condo title finalized. It was done legally, irrevocably. That condo, their prized retirement gift, was now permanently separated from their financial portfolio, and the taxes they dodged filed with interest. Liam emailed me shortly after. "You've closed every door. Want to take it one step further?" I wrote back, "Yes, full audit. Start with the family trust. I want to know where every dollar went since 2017, because they didn't just call me a beggar. They built their banquet on my back. And now it was time to bill them for the chairs they never offered me." The trust audit peeled back layers I didn't even know existed. Liam's forensic accountant uncovered everything. $18,700 withdrawn the week I graduated college. Emergency repairs that turned out to be a new kitchen for my sister. $9,000 labeled as education expenses, but went to front row concert tickets and a spa weekend for my mother. $34,000 quietly funneled into my father's antique car restoration, a vehicle he once said was a reward for raising such responsible children. They bled that account dry, then still had the nerve to call me the beggar. I asked Liam, "Is this criminal?" He nodded. "Only if you wanted to be, but I didn't want jail. I wanted accountability. So, we filed a motion. Request for a financial recompense plus trust misuse documentation. They had 30 days to respond or settle privately. And that's when the mask finally cracked. An unexpected text came through from my mother. "I'm scared, Clara. Please don't ruin the family over money. We'll make it right." I stared at it for a long time. No apology, no ownership, just fear. The only language they ever truly spoke. I responded with one line. "Ruin? You're confusing ruin with reveal." The next day, my sister posted on social media. A long-winded caption under a filtered sunset. "Some people only show up when there's money involved. Glad I know who my real family is." I didn't comment. I didn't need to, because now they could say anything they wanted online. But in court, every word had to be proven, every signature traced, every dollar accounted for. And suddenly, the girl they once called dramatic had become the one they had to answer to. Their lawyer reached out on day 22. Tone clipped, language desperate, wrapped in legalese. He offered a private settlement, $50,000 in restitution. No admission of wrongdoing and a mutual non-disclosure agreement. Liam chuckled when he read it. "They're trying to seal the cracks before the neighbors peek in." I didn't want money. Not really. I wanted a record. Proof that I wasn't just the black sheep. I was the scapegoat, the silent benefactor, the unpaid lifeline. So, we declined. On day 25, my father broke his silence. He came to my office, the one they once called your little side gig, and asked to talk. I didn't get up. He stood in the doorway, hat in hand, pride barely clinging to his shoulders. "You've made your point," he said, "but you're about to ruin us. Are you proud of that?" I looked at him, at the man who once told a room full of guests that my sister was the real success story, and I said calmly, "No, I'm not proud. I'm tired. Tired of funding your life while being ridden out of your legacy." He tried to speak. I raised a hand. "You all called me a beggar, so I stopped giving." And suddenly everyone remembered what I was worth. He didn't apologize. He didn't cry. He just left a folded check on my desk. Blank. Signed. I slid it back to him. This was never about your money, I said. It was about mine. When he left, I opened my inbox. A message from the court system: trust, disbursement, fraud, preliminary hearing scheduled. The date was set, and this time, they'd have to show up, not to celebrate, but to answer. The hearing date spread through the family like a cracked pipe, quiet at first, then flooding every group chat I was no longer in. They didn't think I'd really go through with it. They never do. They expect silence. They expect shame. They expect the one they pushed aside to keep the peace while they feast. But this time, I wasn't the help. I was the witness. Liam and I prepped everything. Timeline, account statements, screenshots of messages where I was asked to spot them just this once, all the invisible IOUs made visible. The night before the hearing, my sister messaged me for the first time since the banquet. If you go through with this, I swear I'll never forgive you. No sorry. No denial. Just a warning. As if my peace required her permission. I didn't reply because some people don't want reconciliation. They want reinstatement of the version of you who stayed quiet. The courtroom was sterile. My parents sat across the aisle with stiff backs and a lawyer who kept checking his watch. The judge asked simple questions. Liam answered them with math. He projected charts onto a screen, demonstrated how the condo payments came from my LLC, how the trust was siphoned for personal gain, vacations, spa days, cars, all under the guise of family needs. My parents' attorney objected, claimed informal arrangements, said, "This is just a misunderstanding blown out of proportion." But the judge, she wasn't moved. She turned to me and asked, "What outcome are you seeking, Miss Bennett?" I stood, voice calm, truth on paper. "That's all. Let the record match reality." She nodded, grave. And with that, my name was no longer just a footnote in their finances. It was the headline. And for once, the room went quiet without anyone needing to escort me out. They didn't speak to me after the hearing. No calls, no letters. No, we didn't mean it. Just silence. The kind that comes when a performance ends and the lights go out. The judgment wasn't criminal. It wasn't handcuffs or headlines, but it was binding. The court ordered restitution of misused funds, not to me, but back into the trust where it belonged. The condo's title was permanently transferred to my name, and my parents, they were removed from any future financial access to assets they hadn't earned. Liam called it elegant justice. I called it balance. Weeks passed. My phone stayed quiet, gloriously so. No requests, no emergencies, no guilt trip. Asks for just a little help this month. Then one envelope arrived. No stamp, no return address, just slid under my door. Inside, a single photo, the family banquet. Everyone dressed in silver and navy, clinking glasses under crystal chandeliers. In the background, blurry but unmistakable, me captured mid-turn, mid-leaving. The moment they erased me, memorialized by accident. On the back, someone had written, "This was the moment it all fell apart." I held it for a long time, then walked it to the shredder. Because what fell apart wasn't family. It was the illusion of it. The one they built with my money, my silence, my need to belong. And once that illusion burned, what was left behind wasn't ashes. It was freedom. I built a new folder that day. Hartley Foundation, a grant for first-generation women putting themselves through school without family help. The first funding came from a condo sale, mine,